What is the key to being successful in social media? Is there a way to guarantee results? To succeed in social networks, it is not enough just to create attractive and eye-catching content, hoping that it will go viral. But to achieve success and make your strategy work, it is necessary to set objectives, since it is precisely these that will determine whether or not it is working. But how should these objectives be set? What are the most important ones? How will we know if they are being met or not? In this video, we will answer all these questions. So let's not wait any longer and let's get started. Why it is important to set goals in social networks. Setting goals in a social media strategy helps to determine where we start from, where we are, and where we want to go. Based on this, a strategy will be designed that will help to go from one point to another, to be able to see if it's working or not. When there are no clear objectives and consequently there is no clear strategy, people tend to publish just for the sake of it, with no set dates and times and no content plan. And this is something that does not usually give results. And one of the key points to set objectives is to establish SMART objectives. This is an acronym that refers to the 5 objectives that marketing strategies should have. Let's see what they mean. Specific. Always ask yourself the question, what do I want to achieve? To define the objective as much as possible, which should always be related to the type of business you have. Measurable. Every objective must be measurable with a number, or the results will not be interpretable. It is also important to have tools that have measured previous results and measure the new ones, since this way it will be possible to see if there is growth or not. Achievable. You must define an objective that is achievable. In fact, it is much better to set small goals than an overly ambitious one that can create frustration in the team if it is not achieved. Realistic. The objective must be important for both the company and for the customers. And time-bound. Every objective must be achievable within a certain time frame. In this way, the actions taken during that period of time will be focused on achieving that goal. But how do we bring SMART objectives to social networks? An example would be wanting to reach 10,000 followers in 6 months. This is a specific, measurable, achievable, and realistic goal. How should you define your goals for your social media strategies? Regardless of the social network you are using, defining a specific goal should start with a broader one first, such as gaining presence on Instagram. From here, you can define some much more concrete and specific ones that will help determine the type of actions to be carried out on social networks. In addition, one characteristic that these more specific objectives must have is that they must be measurable. So, for each objective, it is necessary to decide on the key metric, evaluate the current situation, and monitor it constantly. For example, if the aim is to increase interaction on Instagram, which would be the general objective, the number of likes, comments, shares, and saves will be the derived objectives and the key metrics to be measured. It will then be necessary to assess the number of likes, comments, shares, and saves, and to monitor whether it is growing or decreasing. This leads directly to aligning the objective with the audience, since the followers will have to be analyzed to know their interests and thus create content that is useful, attractive, and appealing to them in order to achieve greater interaction. If different social networks are being used, specific objectives can be set for each platform. For example, if on Instagram the goal is to reach 10,000 followers because it is something feasible and realistic within a certain period of time, but it is not on Facebook, you can reduce the number on Facebook by half. Establishing one figure or another depends not only on the number of followers from which you start, but also the type of audience on each platform, the type of publications that can be made, and the growth that each platform allows according to its algorithm and operation. For example, it is relatively easy to gain many followers at once on TikTok if a video goes viral, but the same does not usually happen on Instagram. You should also keep in mind that different goals are usually determined, but trying to address them all at once is a mistake. Ideally, you should prioritize your goals and tackle them one at a time. Here are some examples of social media marketing objectives for you to take note of. There are a number of social media marketing goals that are very common among businesses. One of them is to increase brand awareness. This is a fairly broad goal, as lasting impact on the target audience is achieved over time and through regular, consistent content posting. So it is less easy to see the results in an obvious and quick way. Another objective can be lead generation. That is to expand your brand's database with the contacts of people or companies potentially interested in your products and services. Each lead will be a new contact potentially interested in you and can be obtained through publications that arouse interest in the brand or ads that encourage the user to register and give their email or other contact information. You may also want to increase interaction with the content, which can be achieved through posts that are interesting and useful to the user. There are many ways to get the attention of your audience and many formats you can try. An example would be polls, quizzes, or some kind of interactive game in Instagram stories. Even if they are fleeting content, it can help you be more present in your followers' day-to-day lives. Another example would be to increase user content generation, which can be achieved by motivating the user to share content relatable to your brand. This can be achieved by using a specific hashtag or by participating in a trend you launch on TikTok, for example. How to measure if you have achieved your social media goals. Measuring results can vary depending on the objectives you have set, but there are certain points that are invariable. One of them is that before launching any social media strategy, specific metrics must be established. For example, if the objective is to increase the number of followers, the starting point and the number of followers to be reached must be taken into account. In order to make an accurate measurement, analysis tools can be used. Usually social networks have built-in analysis tools, but there are also some external ones, such as Google Analytics, that can be useful. Through such tools, going back to the example of the number of followers, it will be possible to know exactly the growth rate of the account, including the number of people who have stopped being followers. In addition, it is important to regularly monitor the metrics in order to be able to make adjustments to the strategy, if necessary. And precisely from this information, it is convenient to create reports in order to have a much clearer view of the evolution. And, whenever necessary, an adjustment of the objectives can be made. Keep in mind that these are not immovable and can be adaptive if necessary. If you want to go further and learn which are the most important metrics to evaluate in your digital marketing strategies, including social networks, you can download our ebook with 130 metrics you should know. You can also watch this video to discover the social media trends to watch this year. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and see you in the next video.